Come to Uncle Moe's for family fun. It's good, 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 good.
Sounds good.
Hello and welcome to Uncle Moe's Family Feedbag, where we look at the dizzying highs, the terrifying lows, and the creamy middles of seasons 1 to 12. And I know what you're thinking, this is odd, they're starting from season 2 straight away. Shouldn't they be starting from season 1, episode 1, like every other podcast? Well, no, we're going to do things a little bit differently here. Think of it as a random episode generator, or a big roulette wheel, that big wheel of Wheel of Fortune. Every week we'll randomly select an episode through a lovely little generator that I've found online, and we'll critique every episode that comes our way. And I'm joined by Cal Reader, a good friend of mine. Cal, how are we doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm very good. I guess we'll start off this little pilot by saying, how did we get into possibly one of the best, animated sitcoms, let alone sitcoms of this generation? I mean, for myself, I was, I don't know about yourself, but I was very much into, I think it was 99, 2000, when they started showing it on BBC Two. And it would be, what would be first? Simpsons, then Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, then Robot Wars, every Friday.
See, I remember it being Weakest Link.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
So it used to go Weakest Link. I can't remember where Fresh Prince was in the line-in, but I remember it being there, and then Malcolm in the Middle after Fresh Prince, because that show is fucking awesome.
Oh, God, yeah. I forgot BBC had Malcolm in the Middle before Sky did.
It did?
Yeah.
Well, possibly. I don't know if it did have it, or if it was just because we didn't have Sky. But I remember watching Simpsons after having tea and stuff like that, coming back from school. And it was more of an event. It was a lot less subsidized as it is today, where it's on literally 5-6 times a day.
Oh, yeah.
More of a family treat kind of thing.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, that was the highlight of my Friday night. I was living up when I was 8. That was it. That was my night sorted.
It's a very big show, and there is events where I remember, even though I was born 95, and for example, Who Shot Mr. Burns, I remember the events of that, watching that, and it was the first re-showing since probably it first got aired. I remember talking to my uncle about it, and he was saying about the whole mythos behind it, and could you work it out who it actually were, and all that stuff. But growing up, a lot of my fondest memories is watching Simpsons. There's a Treehouse of Horror episode where the one with the dolphins. I think I told you about this the other day in the pub.
Yeah, that was what year was that? That was 2000, 2001, I think, when that was originally aired.
Yeah, it was a later one from the original series, but the bit at the end where they're all charging towards each other, and I 100% swear on this, and my life and everything I hold dear, what remaining hair I have, as the final scene, one of the final scenes, when both the dolphins and the humans decide to charge each other and start a war, as they're literally about to touch, we had a power cut.
Oh no!
And when we didn't at the time, we were just like, oh, okay, this is this part of the show. It's fine. He was just doing a joke. And then about 5-10 minutes passed, and we were like, no, this wasn't supposed to happen.
Oh, no way. So you missed the cut to just them defeated, floating in the water.
And that's it. And
Oh
it took
my
us
God.
years before we actually found out what actually happened.
Wow.
Because it was before, it was back when broadband and dial-up was sort of thing, so we didn't have as shitty internet as we do today.
All right, well, we're going to kick off with, I don't know, for me it's a little hidden gem. It's a baseball-themed episode. It's Season 2. I'm going to get my notes up here. Season 2, Episode 5, Dancin Homer, directed by Mark Kirkland, written by Ken Levine and David Isaacs. The original air date being November 8th, 1990. The chalkboard gag is, I will not trade pants with others. The couch gag being, the family sits on the couch and Maggie peeks out of Marge's hair. Very cute. Let's think. I'd say it's an odd start. It's not a conventional start because they frame it around well, you know what's already happened. Homer is some sort of a failure. He's failed again, and he's the barflies are taking interest in his story. What did you think about this little device here?
I think it's interesting because I don't know if it's just more how the show's developed and become a lot more um, less serious, a bit more piss takey, and a bit like I don't know if it's because if you compare Simpsons from this period, especially so early on, specifically this episode, where it starts out and it is a running narrative, but it starts out somewhere else. Then it's Homer telling the story as a almost unreliable narrator, and then obviously it's like the story, middle, end, and such. Compared to an episode, say if it was today, where not necessarily we've discussed about this many a time, where the later episodes aren't. They don't obviously, you know, The Simpsons at the peaks, everybody knows this, but, you know, they're not terrible. No way terrible whatsoever, but the comparison of, like, what would happen if you had a very similar episode set in 2018 or 2019 is it'd start out, say, Homer in the bar in Moe's, starting in The Simpsons, sorry, I clicked the wrong button to stop my recording. Anyway, we'll deal with this in a bit. Yeah, so it'd start off Homer in Moe's, and then all of a sudden he's going to Mars or some shit like that, something completely ridiculous. And the beginning of the episode would have nothing to do with the end of the episode, and even the midsection of the episode, whilst this episode is very nicely bookended.
And so he regales the story of how he became Dancin Homer, the beloved mascot of Springfield. And we cut to Otto driving in, apparently evading the police, if I remember the scene correctly.
Yeah.
Hey, I think we lost him. And we're at the ballpark. 2 birds, 1 stone.
It's funny because it's not so much risky. It's more the classic family fun we, you know, grew up on kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, from listening to a couple of the commentaries and that, they were going to be big on Otto, as in he was going to be like a solid tertiary character. But Harry Shearer absolutely hated doing his voice, so they basically gave him his own episode in series 3 when he moves in with the family. But yeah, they had bigger plans for him.
Is that the one with the girlfriend?
No, he gets kicked out and he teaches Bart how to play guitar.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Harry Shearer hates doing his voice, so he keeps it very limited, and he never became like a Chief Wiggum or a Flanders or whatever. Anyway, they enter the ballpark, and it's co-workers and families of less than 3 ballpark night. Very, very, very specific, very cheap. And Mr. Burns invites them all, and I noticed, like, the first family he sees, and they're sort of like ask, because he says, "Oh, you're a credit to the workforce and all that." Very season 1 designs. I know they look really odd compared to the rest of the characters. Very sort of square heads and that. And then we obviously meet the Simpsons, and they have a little discussion with Mr. Burns. And apparently Maggie's expecting, or Marge is expecting with Maggie.
It's the Simps.
Simpsons, sir. Yeah, it really reminds me of season 1 where, again, he that's the thing, he's got the cue cards in season 1 and 2. He calls Bart Brat. Don't correct the man, Brat. But yeah, anyway, they go off and sit down, and they will meet Mr. Burns again later. Spoilers. But yeah, Homer has a little discussion about why low league baseball was so great, including 72-ounce tubs.
Yeah.
I actually did the little bit of maths on this. When he is drinking with Burns, it's $2.50 for 72-ounce tubs. Do you know how many pints is 72 ounces?
How much?
Just shy over 2.
Did it?
No, not 2. Sorry, 4.
Oh.
So it's £1.20, and I did conversion of dollars to pounds in 1990. It'd be 80 pence for 4 pints.
See, that's the thing with anything in general. As you know, as like a writer as well, they'll always tell you to keep away from pop culture. And if you're trying to pay for anything, because pop culture, the moment you mention anything whatsoever, it automatically dates whatever you're acting, writing, starring, in, whatever. So, like, for example, if I'm bitching about Tony Blair, all of a sudden, or John Major or something like that, like, it dates exactly where it's going to be. Another example is, for example, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Have you read it?
Yes, I have. Way back, but yeah, I have.
So that book's quite timeless. It's because humor-wise, it's quite, it's quite ageless in a way. The only thing when I read that book, and it's one of my favourite books, what kind of instantly aged it for me is at the beginning, where Arthur Dent is in the pub with Ford Prefect, sorry, and Ford orders 8 pints of bitter and a pack of nuts and gives him a $5 and says, "Keep the change."
I'm quite jealous, actually, yeah.
And the barman's like, "Are you sure?" He's just like, "Yeah."
I think I got
Bring
more
me that
sad at
thing.
the fact that, 4 pints for 80 pence in 1990. I just can't deal with it anymore. There's an initial bit of awkwardness in that, Homer's not wanting to get too leery in front of Mr. Burns, but he offers him a 72-ounce tub, and they actually seem to get along really well. And I thought it was quite cute, the dynamic of Homer and Burns having a good old time.
Well, Simpsy, you up for another wave?
All right, Bergie. Whoa! 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 Whoa!
Is it the first time we kind of see Burns and Homer together like that, like outside of?
I think it is. I'm trying to think when the episode is when it's the Charles Kane parody where Mr. Burns is running for mayor. I think it's after that. So yeah, I believe this is the first time they're sort of chumming, or at least on the same side.
Yeah.
That was really fun to see, and obviously the very turn of the century dated references from Burns, as you're always going to get from him. Was he slagging off Connie Mack at Beaumont Hall? Connie Mack, in his prime, was the middle of the 19th century. So there again, this is Burns being vampire zombie levels of age in here.
What do you think about the whole Burns thing? Like, do you like the idea that he's kind of this timeless vampire, or do you like a frail old man who's like born in the 1915s, or do you think they kind of had this idea of him being an 80-year-old man? Because if I remember right, on the early episode, they referenced to him as being like in his 80s and stuff, but like
when he first meets Homer, I'm only 81. That was it. No, yeah. I love it. I love old crackpot, very Howard Hughes. That's it. I love the old sort of Howard Hughes mentality. Obviously made his money, God knows, in what means very, very old money. And yeah, I just love the old Dickensian sentences he uses and the poppycock and all that and the vocabulary. I just love every bit of it. And I don't mind the fluctuating age. Obviously, it's fictional animation. I'm not going to get too het up about it. Him being like 101 years old in later times. But yeah, I can't really...
I wonder if the only age him is 101 because the references what he said. Say, for example, like the reference what he gave the Bobby Cratchit one.
Yeah.
In mid-century. Do you say mid-century 20th or 19th century?
The 1800s. 19th century. Yeah.
See, if he's around 80 or like 90 there in the 90s, he was born like early 1900s kind of thing. So I guess they kind of kept that right, but then because the show's aged as it is,
well, of course, it's just sort of elasticating. Like they'll do it with Homer and his stupidity. It'll be like elastic stupidity. So with Burns, it's his age, but I don't think it really affects it.
I don't know. I think sometimes it can be a little bit distracting. I like early Burns where he's just kind of just a dick. He's just like the devil.
Oh no, season 3 Burns I think is my favourite Burns. Just this old evil boss. Reminds me very much of an 80s wrestling villain, just cutting promos on everyone. Be really hyped up and that. I love it. But anyway, they realise the Isotopes aren't doing so well. They're just waiting for them to strike out to go to the post-season show game, and Homer has to do something about it. So he starts getting up and dancing, feeling the vibes, and he causes them to get their first win of the season.
Isotopes win. Isotopes win.
Oh, before that, did you catch Bleeding Gums Murphy?
Yes, the 27-minute rendition
Yeah.
of.
Ooh, I'm asking. Yeah. Did you see the Fergie one about
I was
9
just
months ago?
gonna- I was
Yes.
just going to say that. It's very much similar to Fergie.
Why is it no one remembers the really good ones and it's just the shite, god awful ones? Well, I believe Carl Lewis did one back in the 80s and his voice is cracking and he's just having to tell people, oh, I'll get there, and it's just chorus of booze.
Nice.
It's not on.
That's what you want, because it's just, I don't know, it's just fascinating to me, the whole American stand up and do the national anthem. Like, obviously we have God Save the Queen and such, but it's just really, it just makes me laugh, because I assume that's probably what it's like. It's like going to a kid's recital and they're having to sing it, and they're going to give their own twist, kind of thing.
Yeah, I feel that's really forced to sort of make it your own. No, just sing it normally and people respect you for it. None of the flicks and kicks.
I think, because isn't this the second time Bleeding Gums Murphy's appeared? Because in season 1 there's the whole, his first showing.
Yes, because Lisa is sad and she ends up meeting her hero Bleeding Gums, you're right, on the bridge.
Which makes sense more how she's really happy to see him and everyone else is just
Oh, she's there for the whole 27 minutes. She's devoted. But anyway, he's very happy and he gets approached by the owner, who, that's an early form of the big rich Texan, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Same voice, but obviously different build and tash. But it goes very well for him. He designs his own mascot outfit. How do you rate Homer's mascot outfit? Because it's not an actual big head, actual costume. It's more of a casual approach.
I think it's kind of. I like it. It's very. I don't think they could have done the whole, big cartoony character because obviously it's a cartoon, but I mean we wouldn't know it's Homer as well.
Yeah, that's very true.
I think the idea of him being a bit of a slob and a bit like lazy with everything kind of works with his character of just being this idiot who just threw this around 5 minutes before his actual job.
He carries on cheering, and the games keep on getting won. Isotopes are on a bit of a roll. Did you notice when he spells out Springfield, he spells it out wrong?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, honestly. You listen to it back. I only realised this when I watched it with the subs, the captions on. It's 2 E's. Not I-E, which actually adds a lot more to the character. And just speaking of fake outrage and all what's happening in the political twist. Helen, I'm in a bit of a Caribbean mood tonight, so let's have Baby Elephant Walk with a little Jamaican feel. I'm fine with it, but I don't think those are Jamaican actors.
Go, Dancin, Homer. Get up, man. Get up.
Lively up yourself, Dancin, Homer.
No, but we can only so much kind of comment on it because we're white. But it's used for comic effect. It doesn't necessarily age well, but it's in no way offensive. It's taking the piss out of itself as just a white guy trying to do
dancing badly.
Exactly. R&B. So that's all it is.
Also, what is it? 3-4 seconds of them dialoguing.
I don't think it is offensive. I'm sure people would find it offensive because we're in a snowflake culture.
And if people are wanting their opinions on Apu, don't worry, we will get to that when it's more Apu-centric episode, because that is a big old can of worms in itself, let me tell you. The Isotopes lose after this hot winning streak, and Homer goes and sees the Texan, believes he's going to fire him. You can't fire the players, so you can fire the mascot. You make me sick. But no, it's not negative. He's not getting sacked. He's actually getting called up to Capital City, the big leagues, where he eventually meets the Capital City goofball. But before all that, he's got to get the time off. I actually really like this line. So obviously he's not quite sure about the family, but they're all behind him. Whatever killed them doesn't make him stronger, but he needs to get time off from his supervisor. What do you want, 3 years? 4 years.
Make it 5.
We get our guest star of the episode.
Tony Bennett.
Yeah, who is still alive and kicking today at, but I think he's the same age as my granddad, or at least very close. I think he's just hit 90. That's got to be, 50, 60-year decade career.
92.
Jeez, he's older. Fucking hell. Yeah, what, 60-plus-year-long decade career, still singing in the industry. Also, another favourite line of mine. Look, kids, street crime.
See, I hope that episode comes up with when they go to New York, because I remember watching the clip shows or Simpsons on one of them, and it's when Homer's driving away, trying to escape from the Twin Towers, and he's got their clamp on his tires and stuff like that. And so I remember seeing that clip where Space and Grit's flying out and he goes, "Get off the road, you idiot!" And then the taxi drivers run over a cyclist.
Yeah.
It's like, "Yeah, you jackass!" I never watched that episode till years and years later, and it didn't dawn on me till a while later. The reason why is because it's obviously a very New York-based episode.
Oh, of course, yes.
It came out not soon before 9/11, so it didn't really get showed quite a lot over here until years later, when obviously it kind of
And have you seen all those
down kind of thing is more acceptable.
Have you seen all those shit articles about how they predicted 9/11 because Bart's holding up a $9?
911.
Yeah.
Well, that's from that episode, isn't it?
Yeah. I can't stand them. It's just.
Have you seen there's a really good video on YouTube, and it says why the Simpsons predicts the future, and purely what it says is because it's been on so long, and it throws out so many wild ideas out there. It's bound to, like, a few things are going to stick.
Well, yeah,
That's
of course.
literally the reason why. Because it's been going on since officially 89 for like 87, I think.
Yeah, with the almond shorts. Yeah. But Homer reaches Capital City, and he's getting a little pep talk from the goofball himself. And whenever he needs help, just squeeze the wheeze. Do you think Homer had a good game plan going into this? Do you like the baby elephant walk? Traditional?
I think it's just kind of... This for me is where it kind of peters off a little bit. I think it's got a really strong start. It's really funny at the beginning. There's loads of funny jokes, such as like the Mr. Burns dynamic, and at this part when he gets to Capital City, it kind of peters down a little bit. It could have been a bit better. I think, I don't know what, but like, I like the idea that he's too nervous and he's spelling capital, and then he's eating hot dog and drink and stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, he did try his best, and I don't know. I believe it does peter off to an extent, but then again, you sort of have to have his inevitable downfall that was set up at the start.
Yeah, I do like the joke where he gets the family tickets, and it's supposed to be really good tickets.
Oh, with the ex-wives.
And it's
yes.
Ex-wives. And one of them said, what did she say? She said something like...
And then I found out that all the while there was this bimbo in Kansas City.
Throw it his head!
Throw it in his head! Homer doesn't make it. He's sawed off by the Capital City goofball, and his dream ends there. But as he's finishing telling off his story, the barflies say, "Oh, what a saga, and what a ending to a story." And I don't know about the ending. It's just very like, oh, wrap it up.
Yeah, it feels very rushed. Like, I like the idea that they're all a bit too snobbish for him, and they're not, because they're like, oh, that might work in the sticks, but it doesn't work out here in Capital City.
Not in Capital City. But I'll tell you what, I noticed a lot as well. Did you notice a lot of it was ADR or redubbed?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the lines in that aren't matching the mouth movements.
Yeah.
Especially in the, first bits at the Springfield Baseball Stadium, just a lot of the dialogue there. So I don't know if it was a mismatch in Korea or just there was a lot of chopping and changing.
The ending just feels rushed.
Right, well, that's the end of Dancin Homer. Now, as we're going to do at the end of every single episode, we are going to click on the little random generator here and see what comes up next.
I think before we do that, should we rate this?
Very good, very good. Okay, first episode. What kind of rating system do we want to start?
What do you rate out of?
Yeah, well, what kind of rating system would we go? Thumbs up or out 5 or?
How about how many Dancin Homers out of 5 would you give this episode?
Right, okay. I will go 3.5 Dancin Homers.
Why only 3.5?
I enjoyed the most of it, but like you said, it petered off towards the end, and I'm not quite satisfied with the finish. But there was a lot of fun character work, and Burns really props it up for me.
I do agree with you. It does peter off, like what I said earlier, where it does peter off. I don't know why. It's most likely the nostalgia of it as well. Like, this is one of the early Simpsons I remember watching on BBC Two and Channel 4 eventually. I'd probably give it about 3.5 out of 5 Dancin Hammers.
Ah, the same. Okay.
I don't know why. I can't. It's not really 4, but it's definitely not 3. I think it's a good classic Simpsons, really. It's not first series where it's kind of like, it's okay.
This is where I do my fancy editing work, as I pull this big lever, and we'll see what comes up next. And we have season 10, Bart and the Mother. So this is a big gap. This is a big jump we're going to go into. Memory's a bit fuzzy of that one, so I don't know, we'll have to wait and see next week. What you can do is like, comment and share on our Facebook page. That's Uncle Mo's Family Feedbag. Maybe even be a working name, but hopefully we'll get some eyes on the product and get sharing around, a nice bit of buzz behind us. Anything else to say, Cal, before we sign off?
No.
Alright, we will see you next time on Uncle Mo's Family Feedbag.
I cringe when I said that.
Come to Uncle Mo's for family fun. It's good, 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 good.
Sounds good.